Welcome to The Real with Joseph Lamtman. I am Joseph Lamtman. Happy Wednesday to you guys. Happy hump day. Hope you guys are having a good week. Stay warm if you're up north. a little snowy, but it's all right. Can't complain though this year. It's been pretty mild. Can't complain. So as long as I can stay outside, I'm good. I go outside. Anybody knows me knows I go outside no matter what the conditions are. I just like being outside, getting fresh air. I don't like being cooped up in the house. And, I think it's good to go out and get fresh air. I just gotta suck it up. And, it is what it is. But anywho, like I said, hope you guys are having a good week. If you're new here, thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. If you're a returning viewer, I appreciate you guys for your support. It's been really cool though. A lot of new people reaching out to me recently that I don't know, and kind of let me know how my stories help them and what I've been sharing. Excuse me. So really appreciate that. Thank you guys. And I look forward to continue to get to know more of you guys and get your feedback on my shows and all that. But today's show, I'm excited about today's show, or looking forward to, because it's another important topic. And this is something that I've been going through. I shared 2 weeks ago that a lot of what I'll be sharing on my show now kind of goes with what I've been going through recently in my own life, my own journey, my healing journey. And so today's topic is about staying focused and healthy habits, and they kind of go hand in hand. And what I mean by staying focused, I'm talking more about, I'll be talking about focusing on, what's true, focusing on what's going to help you get to where you want to go, focusing on what's going to help you achieve your goals and dreams. And I feel like a lot of times today, a lot of what triggers more anxiety for people is they're just so focused on all the stuff that's in the outside world that's not healthy. It doesn't really help them. And it's very easy to get distracted nowadays, especially, we have flesh within us as people, and, spiritually speaking here, that's why it's so important to be, I'm a Christian. I gave my life to Christ, but whatever you believe, if you believe in something, you have to have, in my opinion, a spiritual connection override the flesh. The spirit overrides the flesh, because especially when you're trying to heal, or you're trying to, you're trying to get better at something in your life, because you're trying to grow, because it's very easy to get distracted nowadays. It's very easy to get off focus, get off track. And a lot of times you get more anxiety in turn, you get more frustrated, and you get more down, more depressed at times. Just a lot of things that just keep you down. And so I'm going to get into this right now. I got a couple clips from my dude, he is my dude, but my man, the anxiety guy. And then he also put out his video today about habits, and it's very good. So I'm gonna play these videos today for my man, just because I always like playing his videos, because to me, it's the best support online. I'm gonna find other people as well. I like to get more opinions. I want to hear from you guys if you guys want to come on. But Dennis always breaks it down really well. His teachings and how he breaks it down is what I use and what I believe in. Because I feel like it's very self-empowering. And so, let me get into this though. Kind of more on this topic about staying focused. So when it comes to staying focused, I think there's a lot of things that distract us nowadays. It could be whatever's going on in your life, with your job, your finances, your relationships, your whatever it is, right? I've had a lot of things going on in my life for the past 8 years. So until this last year and a half, I've started to finally slow things down, and kind of really in the last year, really just kind of 9 months since I started this podcast, really find myself again, and really settling more and more, becoming more settled, I guess. I'll let you know I'm still working on me. God's still working on me, but it's very easy to get distracted. There's a lot of things I still don't have yet. I've never really been in a real relationship. I'm looking forward to that eventually. But in today's society, let's just use that as an example. You can rush in that. You can settle. because society tells us you need, and it shows you a lot of falsities about what that should look like, what a relationship should look like, right? And a lot of what you see nowadays, it ain't real. All right, let's just be honest. I mean, I see a lot, a lot of things that are just on social media, and social media is the main thing I'm going to use today, because I feel like social media, there's a lot of good to it, but there's a lot more bad now. And social media is putting out, there's things on social media that are just putting out falsities that puts pressure on you, get you off that focus where you need to be focused on. The TV, the news, not just social media, all of this though, music, things that aren't really healthy for you. Not all of them, but most of them. And I think if you follow along, I think you know what we could all agree. And it'll take a swami to realize that a lot of stuff we see nowadays isn't really healthy for us. And I think it's becoming more and more unhealthy by the day. And I think, like, for instance, as a single person, I can get, if I focused on social media, particularly apps like TikTok, Twitter, stuff like that, which I don't use either because just not for me. But I have been on them before, but then I just didn't like them. It's not for me. And not dissing or anything, just not for me. But at this moment, and then maybe down the road I'll give it another shot. But right now it's just not for me. But on those apps though, in particular, those two, but all of them really, it's a social media can make a person like me who's single want to hurry up and oh my gosh, I'm single, I'm 23. You just feel this pressure. You feel all this worldly pressure, and you can feel all this just need to go settle. But what happens when you do that, you're going towards something that's not for you. God didn't design us to do that. You're allowing your flesh to control what your emotions. You're getting off focus. Your focus isn't right. And God has a plan for everybody. And from what helps me, guys, with your patience, you can get really tested. You can get really down. You have days, you have moments. I mean, we are human. We're not perfect. We're not meant to. God doesn't expect us to be perfect because we're not. But again, you have to. What are you focusing on? What is your trust and faith in? If your trust and faith is in nothing, or if it's just relying on hope, or just if your hope is in the world, if your hope is in the things that are just stuff like stuff like social media, all these worldly things that they say are goals and all this stuff. That's a never-ending cycle. It's a the goalpost is always moving. And I think you see this is why a lot of relationships aren't working out as well nowadays. At least for us, or you see a lot of them, the divorce rate's getting higher. I think just because it started off dysfunctional to begin with. People were not, the people themselves in the relationship, I'm using an example, were not right themselves. And so what happens is they take their baggage into that relationship and they start to fart. I misspoke, fart. Yeah, it wasn't. I can't believe I said that. Anywho, they start to, man, I really got off track for that. That was kind of fun, I'm not going to lie. Fart. What made me say the word fart? I meant to say start. But anywho, no, back to my point. When things start to, the relationship gets deeper, this could be your career, your job rather. You go into it with the wrong focus to begin with, your wrong motives and priorities. When stuff hits the fan, you got to figure things out. You're going to face obstacles. Things just fall apart a lot of times nowadays. And people just don't, because they rushed and settled into it to begin with. They allowed the pressure to dictate what they wanted to do, or to dictate not what they want to do. Excuse me, dictate their actions. They caved. They didn't stay focused. But in order to stay focused, you have to really trust and believe in what you're doing and what your goal is. That's why spiritual is so important. Your mental focus is so important. Do you believe in your therapist? Do you believe in your people around you that help you, your mentors? Do you listen to people that are good mentors that inspire you? This is all part of the healthy habits and a part of your focus, right? And so I think when you look at, I'm just using singlehood, because singlehood is a big topic that doesn't get discussed enough, I don't think, properly, because I think, let's be honest, a lot of, I don't just say singlehood, but I think just a lot of relationships in general is what causes most of what, at least here in America, a lot of what you see, just not to say in America, but in our society, because that's where I live in the United States. Anybody watching from other countries, we got a couple. Appreciate you guys. But in our society, a lot of what I see, what ends up triggering more anxiety, more depression, people falling more into holes, is because they start off with the wrong motives to begin with. Going into something, whether it's a relationship, a job, they just don't. People aren't chasing God's will anymore. They're not chasing who they truly want to be. They don't believe who they can be, who they truly want to be. And so it's a belief problem. It's I think it's a problem of just more fear, and I think a lot of just the social media pressure and just the media. I think people are just focusing on a lot of things that are leaving. They're focusing on things that, number one, leave God out of the equation, but also number two, they're focusing on things that are, like I said earlier, they're standards that don't really matter. None of that shit matters. Like, that's what it is. It's garbage. Like, I see things all the time on social media. It's just nuts. Like, especially with relationships, that's the big one. Because I feel like the point I was getting at when I said a lot of people have anxiety, or a lot of problems people have, it's just from acceptance and rejection, which go together, which can go into relationships. But also, I think it's a normal part of us to want to have love with, find God. That's how God designed us. Now, some people aren't made to be. Like Jason Whitlock is one of my guys who's helped me. I looked up to. He's 50-something years old. He's talked about his show Fearless over on the Blaze, so check it out. Many times, he's in his 50s. He's not married, and he said, maybe God just wasn't. It's not in His will for me to be married. That can happen for some people, but I think for a lot of people, God intended on man and woman to be married. At least that's what I was taught, in my beliefs. But to find somebody. But everybody, what I'm getting at though is everybody wants, is seeking love in some way. That's a natural component to us. So when people have lack of love or lack of something, the anxiety and the depression, a lot of that could be the root cause of a lot of people's heartbreak, things like that, and what I'm getting at is the world teaches us how to cope with those things, how to kind of suppress those things, but they don't show you how to fix the problem. And social media doesn't show you how to fix the problem. It just shows you how to. It's like a never-ending cycle, because what happens is a lot of times people will take the bad habits from the old relationship and they'll take it on to the new one, and it's a never-ending cycle. Because of that, what's the odds of that one work? Probably not as well, especially if two people aren't right. And so, again, I think this is why staying focused, but also having healthy habits is so important. Because if you really want to get to where you want to get to in life, your goals, you want to get married one day to the right person. Number one, the person God has intended for you. That's something I focus on. I just pray to God. Number one, give me the strength, the patience, and the endurance, because it can get hard. It can get challenging. But also, put me with the right person who you have planned for me. Because who God has planned for you is that person's made perfect for you, because that's who God intended you to be with, right? And so, but I'm using relationships as an example today. That is a big component in singlehood and all that. But you can go into other avenues, your career. A lot of people do things in their career and their life that they don't really like to do. They hate getting up, going to work every day. They dread what they do. They dread who they hang around with. They just dread a lot of things. And it's very easy to get down and depressed. But what happens is your focus is looking elsewhere. You're not focusing on what's true, what's important, what's going to help you get to where you want to get to, right? Stay hydrated. But anywho, again, so what helps me with my focus is knowing that God has a plan for me. Knowing that things may not happen when I want them, but my focus and my faith through my spirit, whatever you believe, for me, my spirit, my spiritual connection, excuse me, is what helps me keep going mostly over everything. Because through the spirit overrides the flesh. And so therefore my focus is able to stay, I'm able to stay more focused on things I need to be focused on. What's going to help me? Does it happen all the time, every day? Am I perfect? Hell to the no. But with the right mindset and knowing I believe in my faith and I trust in what I'm doing, I know I'm going to get there to certain things. It's just a matter of time and when God allows it. But also during that time, focusing on myself, focusing on what are the things in my life that I can do to help me. That's the guys, I've come a long way in my journey in 8 years, but there's still a lot of things I'm cleaning out in my own journey that I'm working on, which is fine. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm human. I can't help what happened to me and my journey. I could sit around and make excuses about it and say, oh my gosh, I'm 23, I don't have this. It's not going to do me any good. All I can focus on is what I can do right now. God let what happened to me for a reason, and that's faith as well. Knowing that things happen to you, but I'm gonna play a clip here from the anxiety guy in a minute. Finish out my opening here. Would there be a Dennis Simsek today if he didn't go through what he went through? No. Would there be an anxiety guy? Would he be the anxiety guy? He'd probably say no. Would I be sitting here right now doing what I've done 60 episodes in? By the way, it's episode number 60. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you've made it this far, watched all 60 episodes. Man, we made it to 60. But shout out Kobe Bryant. I think it's 60. I think it's 60 points, Kobe's last game. But no, but I wouldn't be able to do 60 episodes of this, talking about a lot of things I've talked about. It wasn't through what I went through. And that's another thing, that's the focus. How do you perceive things? I can perceive my past and where I've been and think that that's a bad thing, but it's not. God allowed it for a reason, because this is why reflection is so important, because you have to really think and reflect on what the lessons learned. Like a lot of topics I've learned in the last 2 weeks were things I reflected on from the experiences I went through a month ago. I had a lot of things that happened in the month of December to me, in the first week of January, that really challenged me, made me go out of my comfort zone, just more growth. But there was some trial and error, but it gave me a lot more things to build upon and to realize about myself. And so to be able to share with you guys, again, if you can't help other people, if you're not willing to help yourself, and it's okay to put yourself first sometimes before you do certain things. Like going back to relationships. If I had been in a relationship with somebody, 2, 3, probably the last 2, 3, hell, back when I was in high school, 2, 3 years, back when I was in high school even, it wouldn't have worked out because I was not in the right mindset. I was not in the right state of mind. I could have been selfish and that's what a lot of people do nowadays. Unfortunately, they're selfish. They just don't care about people. They go into relationships just for their own pleasure. And then when things don't work out, that person gets messed up. It's just like I said about the never-ending cycle. There's a lot of pain in the end, but also that person the person who's settling and just trying to, they're never going to find what they want because they're not focusing on what's true. They're not focusing on truth. They're focusing on the wrong things. And so, but again, I could have settled many times in my life, but I'm glad I didn't. And I'm kind of glad God held me away from a lot of things, to be honest with you, back in those years. I'm kind of glad there was a lot of good, actually, more good to what happened to me than bad. And I'm glad I was pulled away from life. I was isolated away from certain things, because I would have been around with some things probably that I would have regretted or would not have been healthy for me. Temptation for many things could have been there. And so I'm glad I was isolated from that, because I'm able to now stay focused on what's important and to find, again, God wants what's best for you, and I want God's best, and I know what's out there. I'd much rather wait and allow His timing and His process to play out the way he wants it to go because he's perfect, his will, than for me to try to force something. But again, that takes focus and faith to do that. And whether you believe in God or not, if you're healing, if you're going through healing your anxiety, you know, focus on things that are important that are going to help you. And I think there's two things that hold people back from not fully aligning themselves to allow and to trust. Number one, people are afraid to express their emotions nowadays. They're just afraid to express their emotions. Our society tells us to suppress. Man, I can't stop doing. Our society tells us suppress. But we're not allowed to express how we really feel to someone. You know, I think it's not a lot of honesty nowadays. But to someone, or about where we are, how we're feeling, or people are afraid to be honest with themselves because they're afraid of what they're going to see. And I think a lot of times people get really sensitive to certain things and they avoid them. And you can't be you got to be, if you want to be honest with yourself, you can't be sensitive about something. You can't be, you can't avoid everything, even if it pertains to you. That's what holds a lot of people back. They're afraid of something that pertains to them. But it's okay to be honest with yourself, be critical of yourself, but also just be honest with people where you are. And so express your emotions. It's okay. If you want to be the best version of yourself, you have to be honest with yourself first and with someone. You know, if you go in a relationship with somebody, be honest with them. Don't piss around with them, and just be honest. That's trust. That's faith. If you're going into a job, you got to tell your boss something. Be honest. Just be honest. I respect people who are more, and other people respect people who are more honest. Number one, there's not much of it nowadays in society. There's not much authenticity. But also just be real. Be honest with people. You know, hey, this is where I am. This is what I like. You know, blah, 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 whatever. You talk it out like grown-up adults and people. And if that person can't accept you for that, then okay, no hard feelings, and just move on. But don't be afraid to express yourself. And so I'm going to play this clip real quick from Man Dennis, the anxiety guy. About expressing yourself. So let me get into it.
And the people around you big time. Guys, number 5 is find ways to release suppressed emotion. 8 out of 10 people that visit the doctor's office is there because of a bad memory. Okay? So I want you guys to understand that when you repress your emotions, when you keep them in you, hidden, and far away from the world, and you're not finding productive ways to release some of those emotions, a lot of times it explodes in one moment. Okay, our kids do something wrong and boom, it comes out, right? And then we regret that. Whereas if we slowly on a daily basis find ways to express some of those emotions. And I say this to people a lot, you know, people I work with, I go, you know what? You need to cry more. And they go, no. My parents taught me back in the day that big boys don't cry. And I go, you know what? That's full of shit. Okay? Because when we repress those emotions, okay, we pay for it later on. We tend to create cancer within us because of repressed emotion. Okay, crying, anger, whatever it may be. And there's a lot of people out there that hit the weights. You know, if you're doing weights and you're at the gym, you know, those big exhales in every repetition, and you feel like you're expressing yourself, you know, and you see those people in the gym, they're like, why do they do that? It's not so much that the weight is huge. It's because that is a time for them to release some of those emotions that are inside of them. Okay, so we all must find ways, productive ways to experience those, right? And to let ourselves experience life at a deeper level. Emotions are a good thing. They're a good thing, right? And I want you guys to go out there and feel like you are living life at a deeper level. Okay. Number 6 is good.
Yeah, and phenomenal point there, going off of what I was saying about don't be afraid to express yourself. And don't be afraid to let go. And then my next point, before I wrap up my open here, I think a lot of people are, people are afraid to let go of? What are they trying to hold on to? I've talked about this many times in the show, and you see it nowadays in society all the time. People are afraid to let go of control, but what are they trying to control? Are they trying to control what? I see mainly people are trying to control the reputation, and a lot of times it's your ego. Your ego can be your worst enemy. A lot of times, and most of the time, it can be your worst enemy, because your ego feeds into that dopamine rush, feeds into that stuff I was talking about earlier with social media, and how if you're constantly trying to please people based off of the worldly standard, what social media says you need to do, you need to look this way, you need to look that way, everything's got to be aesthetically pleasing, all this crap, when you're not focused on what's important, especially in people, character, heart, somebody that has values and holds himself with dignity, class, and respect. We focus on, we put people out in the open now, our society, they glorify people that show all the wrong things that we shouldn't really be focusing on. And it's sad because it gets people more and more into frustration because they feel like they have to live up to these things. And it's your ego that's getting in the way. You're trying to control that. You're trying to control your reputation, how people perceive you. When really true freedom is, who gives a shit what people think of you? I don't got to prove myself to anybody. As long as I accept me for who I am and God accepts me for who I am, I'm good. And it's just like, it's okay to let go. Some of the best advice I ever heard was from my man Kwame Brown, he was on the Pivot podcast last week too. Go check that out. Hell of an interview. But Kwame is just, a man's man. He's very strong-minded, not afraid to back down, say what he says. They said stuff about this guy for years, called him a bust, and said all these bad things about him. Then when he finally spoke up for himself, and by the way, a lot of who inspired me to do what I did in my first episode was Kwame Brown. When I saw him do it, when I saw what he did when he first came out. That's a story there. I'll get into that later on down the road. But no, I heard Kwame one time talk about staying focused. And what Kwame said was, I'm kind of paraphrasing. This was on a podcast back in, he did one of his shows, Bus Life on YouTube. Go check it out. Back in October. Yeah. And I think I mentioned this on my show. And what Kwame was talking about was, hey, as long as you got a goal, no matter where you are, no matter how much money you got, what car you drive, where you live, whatever's going on in your life, stuff happens to people, right? Stuff happened to me. Stuff happened to maybe to you. We are where we are. But as long as we got a goal, an objective, and we're taking steps each day, striving each day, no matter how big or small those steps are, to reach that goal, we're putting in the effort. That's most important. As long as you put in effort, and you're getting there and you have a belief in yourself, you're good. It don't matter what people say, if someone says you're not shit because you ain't got this, or, you don't have this yet, you're not here, you're not there. People around you have certain things that you want. Don't worry about that. Stay focused on you. Stay focused on God's plan for you. Stay laser in. You're going to find it. That helps me. I'm going to get to the things I want as long as I stay focused on God and keep Him first and foremost, and putting on Christ every single day, and trusting in my plan every single, trusting like the dentist teaches on his program, trust in all the tools and just the day-to-day steps that can help me, that are helping me more and more in my growth. That's what you guys should focus on. Focusing on you and your journey, not comparing yourself to other people. And I think that's what people get caught up on, is we live in such a competitive, that ego feeds into competition. We live in a very competitive society. Everything's about, oh, this person has this person has that. I need to go get this. I need to go get that. Right? And that's not healthy. Quit comparing yourself to other people. Just stay focused on you. If you want the best, focus on God, put Him first, and allow Him, through God, He'll show you. You can go out and settle. It's very easy to settle in this world for many things. But pretty much you can settle for anything really in this world. but are you settling yourself short? Are you selling for what's best? Are you selling for, are you going to keep reverting back to the same thing that you knew wasn't healthy for you the first time you did it, or the second time you did it, over and over and over again, like I said earlier, that never-ending cycle? You can keep reverting back to that, but if you want to find the right person, if you want to find the right career, if you want to find the right anything, stay focused on what's important and your goals. In fact, don't get caught up in this competition, this world. Stay focused on what's true. And you are good enough. Somebody out there is going to like you just for who you are. You don't care what all that aesthetically pleasing crap, not just physically, but all that, you know what I mean? Just, man, none of that shit matters. Stay focused on what's important. And I'm sorry I cussed a little bit. I try not to. But stay focused on what's important though. And so this last clip here, if I close out of my open, talks just about that. In the same video later on, Des talks about stop competing with everybody. I mean, you know what I mean? Just stop competing with everybody. That's what he says here. Let's get to it.
Number 9 is stop competing with others. Okay? Competing with others. Oh, my friend's got that new car, which means that I must get that new car, of course. So what do? We put more on our plate. We work harder and harder and harder, 50-hour work weeks, and we get that car. Fantastic for the first month. After that, we find ways of selling that car and maybe getting a better car because your friend got another great car. Stop competing with other people. Compete with the person you were yesterday. I like that one. Compete with who you were yesterday, not with other people. Be better than you were yesterday. That's your job, is to improve yourself on a daily basis, guys. So stop competing with others and notice how you can begin to grow from yesterday. The last one is that you guys
love all of that. The only person you should compete with is the person you were yesterday. And one of my favorite athletes of all time, Kobe Bryant, the Mamba mentality. That's what he says. And I even have it right there on the, if I can point, that bottle right there. That's one of his from Body Armor. Yeah, it's a Kobe Bryant edition. But I bought it just because of what it said on the back. I want to put it on display. Plus, it has a jersey. His jersey's out there as well. But it says a constant quest to be the best version of oneself. And if you listen to, I've heard him on a podcast many times. What the mind mentality is be better version of yourself each and every day. As long as you focus on you and what you need to do every single day, and everything else will fall into place. And you might get to the point where God will allow the right things at the right time. And God uses people and things, especially people, many times, to help us maybe get over a hump or to help complete us to what we're going through. God does it all the time. But what if he uses you as well? Are you ready? Are you staying focused on what's true? And so that's note for today. I know I said a mouthful, went a little longer than I wanted to, but that's okay. Said a lot of good things in there. A lot of good things that I have to stay focused on. A lot of what I say is a reminder for me as well. Guys, I have days all the time. Earlier today, I was having it a little, I was kind of going through a little bit. I'm human, but all I can do is keep praying, constant prayer, but staying focused on what I know is true and what has helped me to this point. If there's something that's making me get off track, got to put it aside. Can't focus on that. Got to focus on what's true. And so, again, developing healthy habits. And so, I got a video I'm gonna play from my man Dennis, the anxiety guy. It's just came out today, actually. Kind of funny, and it's title. This is called "I Gave Up These Anxiety Habits. Now You're Next." And this is only a 10-minute video, very quick. He's gonna list out 10 quick things. He's really break it down in some good detail too, about just 10 things that he had to give up, and also I had to give up some of these too to help me grow more in my journey, to help me keep striving each and every day towards my goals and my dreams. And so, and also just overcoming anxiety in general, just, just the whole healing process in general. And I don't want to say process, it's more just becoming who you really are, your true self, not the fabricated self, not the person the world wants you to be, being who God wants you to be, your true self. And so I'm going to get into this video. I may stop on a couple points, just give a quick little commentary. If not, I'll just play it straight through and we'll close it out. But yeah, let's get to it.
I give up, and it's time for you to give up as well. Warriors, in today's video, we're going to go deep, very deep. Let's go. Warriors, welcome to another important video, my friends. Yes, today we are out in nature in a beautiful park. I said, you know what? Let's create some change and do this video somewhere else because it's an important video. Okay, this video may change your life and may supercharge your anxiety healing journey because it has everything to do with the things that I gave up on. Okay. And I'm going to share with you those things, those 10 things that I gave up on that I highly suggest you give up on starting right now to supercharge your anxiety recovery. Okay. This is going to be key. Number one is I want you to give up on how your old name would approach your anxiety healing, okay? When it comes to who you believe you are and the baggage that you've carried around based around the name that you are, you need to understand how is that person approaching the anxiety healing, okay? For example, you take a Frank. Frank has gone through many, many emotional traumas as a child. Frank is programmed to believe in lack. Okay. Frank doesn't believe he has the abilities to heal. He doesn't believe he has the resources to heal. Now, Frank is trying to approach his anxiety healing. What do you think is going to happen? Frank's always going to keep starting over, right? He's going to keep starting over, and he's going to go between anxiety and depression over and over and over again. So I gave up on trying to heal my anxiety through Dennis, and I highly urge that you do the same. Okay, you need to be a different person approaching anxiety healing differently from a completely different mindset in order for you to truly heal. Okay, number two is give up on the millions of different coping and distracting techniques. Okay, if you go online, there's a million and one different types of coping and managing symptom-based techniques. If you try to implement every single one of these with half a heart and not a full understanding because you're in such a fight or flight response all the time, then you're going to fail, right? And you're just going to keep looking for more techniques. So we need to differentiate between what's a managing technique and what's a healing technique. Okay, a managing technique has everything to do with trying to manage the current situation that you're in. And a healing technique is one that speaks to your subconscious mind to make the changes in the programming that you're under at the deepest level. So you need to understand, is one a coping technique or is it a healing technique? And try not to equip yourself with a million different techniques. Okay, just focus on 4 or 5 techniques on a weekly basis. Okay, and I'll add a few of those in my descriptions and the video to those techniques in regards to healing. Okay, so let's give up on trying to equip ourselves with millions of different techniques. Number 3 is give up on the old way of introducing yourself to the world. Okay, so the moment you wake up in the morning, it's kind of like, oh, here I am, right? And anxiety sufferers tend to check in with elements of their anxiety instantly. And when they go outside, they're very rigid in the way they walk. Okay. When they talk to people, they tend to talk about lack and they're really 50% there and 50% checking in with their anxiety elements on the inside. So you need to give up on the old ways of introducing yourself to the world.
I just want to stop real quick because I love this point here. It kind of goes off what I was saying a little bit ago. About expressing yourself. Part of allowing yourself to be different, like you said, to the world, It's just being who you are, being who you want to be, who you want to, what you want to say, and just letting it go. And if whether people accept you or not, the hell with it. That's not your. That should be your end goal. As long as you're good with you, like I said earlier, and God is good with you, which He is, then what? Then what does it matter? Just allow yourself to be. Just allow being. You're letting go, being your different, being someone. Don't be that same old. Just I used to be like this, very shy. Don't say what you really want to say. Don't really have a voice. You feel like you just got put on this fabricated show or version of yourself to everybody. That's not what we're doing anymore. We're being our true self. You want to be open with somebody, be open with somebody. You want to be who you want to be. Chase your dreams. Whether people accept it or not, that's on them. It's not on you. As long as you know in your heart you do the right thing, that's all that matters. So let me get back to this.
World. When you wake up in the morning, the first 15, 20 minutes, who are you, right? What sort of movements are you going through with your body? What are you saying in front of the mirror, right? What sort of thoughts are you giving energy to? Every morning when you wake up, I want you to wake up introducing yourself to the world in a completely different manner than you have been, okay? This is very, very important, my friends. Number 4, give up on the need for acceptance, okay? Forget about acceptance. If somebody doesn't accept you, so what? There's 7, 8 billion people in the world, right? Your vibe will attract your tribe. And what that means is as you are...
Woo! I like that. Your vibe will attract your tribe. Let me hear that again. We need to hear that again. Hold on a second. What do you say? Say it again, Dennis.
If somebody doesn't accept you, so what? There's 7, 8 billion people in the world, right? Your vibe will attract your tribe. And
your vibe will attract your tribe. I ain't gotta say anything about that one. I mean, that go write that down and put it on the wall. Just look at that every day. Man. I'm gonna go write that down right now. I'm gonna get back to this. I'm gonna go write this down.
And what that means is as you are rising in frequency, as you are rising in vibration, and fear is starting to dissipate and self-love is starting to take over, the universe is going to start creating pathways to the tribe that you're meant to be with, okay? So if you're going through every single day looking to be accepted by everybody and doing everything you can to please other people, then that's called anxiety, right? So you need to give up on the need for acceptance completely, okay? The only person you're responsible for is who? Yourself, nobody else. Number 5, give up on the fear of rejection. Okay, I want you on a daily basis to put yourself in situations where people may reject you. Okay, like I said in my first book, I used to go to the mall and wear pajamas. Everybody's looking at me like, what the heck is wrong with that guy? He's wearing pajamas. Can't he even dress himself when he gets out of bed? I didn't care. I was being rejected by people, maybe not verbally, but I could see it in their face. So what we have to do is we have to get comfortable with rejection. Get comfortable with rejection, okay? And make this a priority in your daily life, okay? Place yourself in situations where you feel people are going to reject you, and then make sure that your level of self-worth, determination, capability stays high even when they're rejecting you, okay? So this is very, very important, something that you have to give up. 6, give up on chasing happiness, my friends. Stop chasing happiness, okay? Chasing happiness is one of those things where it's like a dog constantly chasing his tail, going in circles. Happiness is a byproduct of other things that you do, okay? Happiness cannot be the end goal, right? So before happiness comes a lot of different elements, right? Your level of self-worth will determine how far you go in the anxiety recovery process, okay? The way you perceive your past and possibly your childhood traumas is very, very important. The way you perceive people in your past that either did or didn't do things for you is very, very important. The way you present yourself to the world today, all of these elements will bring on happiness, Okay. So what you have to focus on are more so the micro and not so much the macro. Focus on the micro. Okay. And if you do this, then happiness will be a byproduct of the things that you do and the new lifestyle changes that you make on a daily basis, my friends. Okay. Number 7, give up on overvaluing worry. Worry may feel like it comes with a tremendous amount of value, right? The more I worry, the closer.
I just had to stop right there. I'm gonna back it up too a little bit, but this goes into what I was saying earlier about with the world pressure. We need to do X, Y, and Z. You know, you need to everything's gotta be aesthetically pleasing. You know, you gotta look this way. You gotta have 6-pack, all this other shit. I don't mean to cut, but that's what it is. It's garbage. A bunch of stuff you don't. It doesn't matter. Doesn't mean we don't try to help ourselves. I mean, try to be healthier and try to do, but don't let the world standards of that define who you are. Don't worry about that. A lot of what we worry about are those types of things. What the world says we need. You need to be worrying about this to be accepted. BS. No, you don't. Just like you said, I had to post that on my Instagram story too. I had to put that. Your vibe will attract your tribe. Mm-mm-mm.
with a tremendous amount of value, right? The more I worry, the closer I am to solving a problem. The more I worry, the better I'm going to be, whatever you've attached worry to, my friends, okay? Worry really gives you something to do, but it gets you nowhere, okay? But with anxiety, we tend to default to worry because it's kind of like brother and sister, right? Without worry, you can't have anxiety. Without anxiety, you can't have worry. So it's a perpetual loop. So when we look at worry, we have to go, ouch, it's ridiculous, right? It's ridiculous. All this attention, energy, and focus I used to give worry, now I see beyond it. Now I see through the worry, okay? Number 8, give up on caring for others so much more than caring for yourself. You come first. You come first. And that's going to sound selfish to a lot of people, but the truth is you can't really help another person until you truly help yourself. Okay? So you have to understand.
Very key point. Just like I was saying earlier, it's okay to be selfish at first. You got to help yourself first. You want to help other people. Before you commit to things, before you do things, you got to be honest with yourself and with maybe people around you or whoever. Hey, this is where I am. Because you got to help yourself first. If you want to get the best out of something, if you want to become the best version of you, if you want to achieve the things you want to achieve, you got to be honest with yourself. You got to be able to help yourself first. You're not wrong for doing that. And so, again, you got to be able to help yourself, but it's okay. Don't feel wrong for doing it. You owe it to yourself. You know, I would be where I am today doing, and I still have guys. I still have things a long way. Not so long. I still have things I'm still working on my own life, but I stay focused on where I'm going. It's like Kwame Brown said: as long as you're on your way, you're good. You know, don't worry about people pleasing and all that. God will put the right people in your place at the right time that'll help you, and you'll help them. It's a counterbalance. Focus on that. That's truth. It will happen if you stay focused on it and keep helping yourself. Like you said, no, it's okay to help yourself. Growing yourself is what you're just helping yourself grow. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't let the world tell you otherwise. A lot of people don't want to see you grow because they can't grow. If you got something they don't have, you know, and people, like I said earlier, some people don't like when you say certain things or start helping yourself because it pertains to them. It makes them look in the mirror. And a lot of people are just afraid to see what's on the inside. But you can't, all you can worry about is you and helping you. Don't stop trying to please people and trying to, you know, your heart may be in the right place to help somebody too, but also make sure that you're, saying I've learned this with anxiety. There's a lot of people that try to help me in my earlier years. They meant well, but people can give you really shitty advice. Not out of harm, but just they don't really know what they're talking about when it comes to this. All they know is what they know. But again, Because you want to be the best version of yourself and really help somebody and really like real power to it. You want to get the most out of it. You got to be right with yourself first. And a lot of that too is looking in the mirror between you and God. So, yeah, I'm gonna finish this out though, and then we'll close it up.
Putting other people on a pedestal? Am I putting other people first before me? If this is the case, it has to change. You come first, my friends, and make sure that each and every day this is your focus. All right. Number 9, give up on overcomplicating your anxiety recovery and simplify. We have to simplify the process, okay? If the process feels simple, good. That means that you have a structure. Anxiety recovery demands a structure, okay? So as you implement this structure, and as time goes on, you're going to find that your anxiety dissipates and you can start letting go more. You can be more unconscious, if that makes sense. You don't have to be so mindful about every little thing. But in the beginning, you need structure, okay? So don't overcomplicate your anxiety recovery. Make sure that you simplify things, okay? And number 10, give up on waiting for change to come to you. Change is not coming to you. You have to go to change. You have to manifest change. This is the way, my friends, okay? These are the 10 things that I really want you to give up on. In the comment section, I want you to share with me which one of these 10 spoke to you the loudest. And I will put all of these in the description below. I love you all from the bottom of my heart. Have a wonderful day. And if you're looking for a step-by-step process to heal your anxiety, head over to theanxietyguy.com today and begin your anxiety healing journey. You are more than anxiety. Don't ever forget it, my friends. Bye-bye.
Yeah, great video by my man Dennis, the Anxiety Guy. Go subscribe to him, check him out. Love everything he said there, especially at the end. The last point there, and I'll wrap up with this, is, you know, simplify. You know, just keep things simple. Simplify and stay focused on what you're doing and things. And you have to, if you want change to happen, you have to allow change to happen. You have to make change happen. You have to allow it. And so, again, that's why I said today, what's your focus on? Are you allowing things to manifest? Are you allowing God to lead you? Most importantly, do you feel like what you're doing is in God's will? Or do you feel like you know, where your heading's taking you where you want to go long term? Do you feel like you're heading? Are you focusing on the right things? These are all things you have to ask yourself because, like he said, there, those 10 steps, those things he had to cut out. Certain things, not to focus on, and what you need to stay focused on. If you want to get somewhere, if you want to get to your goals and your dreams, you're not going to get to those things by focusing on all these other crap, on all this other crap that we've listed today, and said many of them that he listed there. And so, again, simplify, allowing, and things will manifest. But again, it takes trust, it takes faith, and you have to ask yourself, do I really have trust and faith in what I'm doing? You know, is what I'm doing, most point for me, is what I'm doing putting God first? You know, do the people around me, do they help me? Do people, you know, do they help me grow? Right? It's just like a lot of things. It's, do people around you help you grow? Is what you're doing helping you grow every day? Your habits, your career, you know, do you like what you do every day? Is it pushing you towards your healing? And your healing, is it helping you grow more to be a better person? Is it helping you overcome anxiety, or is it giving you more anxiety? Is it adding more fuel to the problem? You know, and so, again, focus and habits, two very important things, and two things that I'm still working through in my own life. You know, like I said, I still go through it every other, you know, some days and certain stretches. But what helps me get out of it is because I know what's true, and what's true is what God's promises to me, but also I trust in what I'm doing in my journey. I know it's working because I know how far I come, and I know what didn't work. Right? I've been on the other side of what didn't work, and it wasn't a satisfying ending at all. It was very painful, rather. And and I'll leave you guys with this. There's a difference between, like if you're in a relationship or if you're in a career. It's like I said earlier. A lot of times things start dysfunctionally, and going back to my point when I stopped there in the middle of his video talking about, you have to be your best version of you first if you want to help anybody. If you start something off with dysfunction, with that kind of baggage and dysfunction, it's going to be dysfunctional all the way through till the end. And then, like I said, the end, it's very painful, and you can put yourself in a deeper hole. It's harder to get out of. You add more pain to yourself, more stress, more burden, you add more to that baggage, and you start to doubt yourself more, and you get more depressed. And, I think you have to really stay focused on just, I lost my train of thought. What did I say? My bad, guys. I'm a little tired. Oh, yeah, my bad. No, just staying focused on, okay. I remember what I was going to say now. If you start off something dysfunctional, like I said, it could lead you with more baggage in the end, more stress, more pain, more doubt about yourself. There's a difference between stress or between dysfunction and messy. Things can be a little messy. Like, remember, what's the key theme I've said on the show last couple weeks? Things won't be perfect for you to do them. And so, healing is messy. Dennis even says that anxiety healing gets messy. It's okay if things are a little messy. That's okay. You want to work through that mess, because when you get through that mess, God lead you through, you become stronger. Things get a little messy. But if things are very dysfunctional and there's no progress and you're doubting yourself and it's that never-ending cycle, and you need to really look at the mirror, be honest with yourself. This is something I've had to do. Something everybody has to do at some point. And so, give yourself some space. Give other people space to work things out. And really take your time, step by step. You don't need to be a rush or hurry for everything. Anything worthwhile is molded over time, right? You might not even know. You might not even be aware of it right now, or you might have been aware of it in the past. But God's always cultivating something greater. He has a greater plan. And it's like he's got you in the oven. If he takes you out too soon, it's not right. It's not cooked in that enough. God will bring you out of that oven when you're cooked just right, at the right time. I'm speaking theoretically, but just have trust and faith and stay focused on what's true and what's important. Because you really save yourself a lot of stress and anxiety and just anger, frustration, depression, whatever it is. Stay focused on what's true. And do you truly believe in what you're doing? You got to ask yourself that question. And so that's my show for today. Hope you guys took something from it. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, and all that good stuff. Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear you guys' feedback on this topic or anything. You can message me on Instagram, Facebook, at my email. If you want to contact me about anything, need more help about anything, you can contact Dennis. Also, go to his channel, subscribe to him, and I appreciate you guys for tuning in today. Like, subscribe, share, like I said, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out of here.